Duelist Sid is I Hellgear, and July has finally come. Cyber Strike Structure Deck got the bad boy, and I'm going to open it up and look at all the good goods for both of Zane Truesdale's babies. So, be sure to leave your thoughts of these cards in the comments section below. Also, because I made the qualifying purchases at my Good OTS store, I also got the Lost Art of Enchanting Fitting Room. Very fun card to use with Ojamas and Materia Actors. So, let's open up this here box and talk about the cards. Now, funny thing is, a good while back, I actually created a deck that uses both the Cyber Dark and Cyber Dragons. And I did it on a bet to see if you could combine Zane's two decks and make a functioning deck. And not only did I make this deck, I actually won 20 bucks in the bet. And sometime after that, Konami announces this deck. Now, I'll leave a link in the description of this video below to said deck, and you guys can tell me who the forefather of building cyber style was when it came to the anime. Here we are with the new whip here. Alright, let's get the plastic off this bad boy. Get the plastic off this bad boy. They always have this weird line where you're supposed to wrap it around the casing, but it always seems to get stuck in the middle. Maybe it's because I'm pulling it the wrong way. Or at least I always think I'm pulling it the wrong way. Okay, come on. Alrighty then. Out of the plastic. Okay, so let's get a quick little bit of a rundown for all of the new cards. And we're going to talk about some of the older cards as well. So, first off, we have Cyber Dark Chimera. This thing helps out so much. Discard a spell or trap to add Power Bond from your deck to your hand, and that's the big sell about this card. Art, of course, you can only use Dragon or Machine Cyber Monsters as fusion material this turn. Also, once when you fusion summon this turn, you can banish monsters from the graveyard as material. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can send a Cyber Dark monster from your deck to the graveyard with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. Each effect is once per turn. So again, this is a very big boost to both of Zane's decks. And now, this baby, Cyber Dark Realm, which got the name change from Cyber Dark World. This one is essentially the extender and rota for Cyber Dark monsters. When activated, add a Cyber Dark monster from your deck to your hand with a different name from the cards in your graveyard. During your main phase, immediately after this effect resolves, you can normal summon a Cyber Dark monster. The previous effect is once per turn. If you equip a monster from your graveyard by the effect of a Cyber Dark monster that activated when it was normal or special summon, you can equip cards from your opponent's graveyard. And of course, this is an oat. So, oat meaning one activation a turn. Wow, another Ultra Cyber and Dragon. That's amazing. Wow. It doesn't beat my Cybernetic Revolution one, but it's nice to see one comes close. And this is the big nasty right here. The 5-rack attack and 5-rack in the back. Cyber Dark End Dragon. It is the fusion of Cyber End and Cyber Dark Dragon. Must either be fusion summoned or special summoned by tributing a level 10 or lower Cyber Dark fusion monster equipped with Cyber End Dragon. There are ways to mitigate this issue when you're not using Cyber Darkness Dragon, and the cards in here actually help with that. Unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. Once per turn, you can equip a monster from either graveyard to this card, and the card can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of cards equipped to it. So, if you can equip multiple cards to this, unlike the other Cyber Dark monsters, and swing at your opponent a lot. Cybernetic Horizon. This is another one of those spells that helps bridge the gap with this deck. Also treated as a Cyber Dark card. So you can search it off of Claw. Send 2 Dragon or Machine Cyber monsters with different attributes to the graveyard. One from each your hand and deck. Add a Dragon or Machine Cyber monster from your deck to your hand. So another Rhoda and pitch. If you do, send a machine, well, after you do that, and if you do, send a Machine Cyber Fusion monster from your extra deck to the graveyard. Alright. Again, this one, like Horizon, is a 1-y. But this is a wet, which means you can only choose one of the effects. One effect a turn. You can't special summon monsters from the extra deck the turn you activate this card, except fusion. So if you're using like Link monsters, you won't be able to go into them after you play this, which is not too big a deal. Oh, this Hurts is a super rare? Really? Wow, a super rare Hurts. Okay. Nice to see a super rare Hurts. We get a fusion deployment. It's been a while since I've seen this card. Send a fusion monster in your extra deck. Oh, reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck and special summon from your hand or deck one of the materials whose name is specifically listed on the card. Also, you're locked into special summoning fusion monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn. And of course, this is an Oat as well. 1 activation a turn. And this right here, in super rare form, Infinite Impermanence. That looks so pretty. Ooh, I'm so pretty. Thank you, Konami, for actually giving us this. We needed it, because this is a pricey card at 20 a pop. Now for some monsters. Attachment Cyburn. This is one of the cards you can discard off of Cybernetic Horizon because it is a cyber monster. And most importantly, it's light attribute, unlike the Cyber Darks that are mostly dark. Target a Dragon or Machine monster you control and equip this card from your hand or field to it. Okay, so it's not a Union monster. While equipped, while this card is an equipped card, the equipped monster gains 600 attack. Not that big of a boost. If this card is sent to the graveyard while equipped to a monster, target another Dragon or Machine Cyber monster in your graveyard and special summon it. Summon it once per turn. Okay. So again, this is a useful card. Again, you can pitch it off of your Cyber Dark or your Cybernetic Horizon because it gives you a life. So the play here is you take your Cybernetic Horizon. You can pitch your Cyber Dark Chimera. Well, you're not going to pitch this, but you can pitch one of your other Cyber Dark monsters, which are dark attribute. And then you can pitch Attachment Cyburn because it's light. And it meets the requirement of 2 Dragon or Machine monsters from your hand or field with different attributes. And that's the important thing. You can't send Chimera and Cyberdark Cannon because even though it is two different dragon and machine monsters, they're both dark attribute. Zane Truesdale's Ace Monster. And then we get the other ones. We have Cyber Dragon Zwei, which is the German for the number 2. Dry, which is German for the number 3. Fear, yes, I did pronounce that with an F because you're supposed to, as my German family has told me. Fear is the German word for the number 4. Then we get another copy of Naxter. So if you didn't get a copy of this from Legendary Duelist Season 2 booster packs, you get one here. And it's good to see this getting reprinted again. We get a core, which was, I believe, in Maximum Gold. And Pharaohs, which was also in Legendary Duelist Season 2 as a reprint. But we're not going to use this anymore. You know, Pharaohs was the old way of getting Powerbond. But Chimera retires that card. Cyber Valley getting a reprint is lovely. This is something else you can pitch with Cybernetic Horizon as a light cyber machine monster. Also a really good defensive card. Cyber Phoenix is another one. Someone asked me about this card. And hold on, I have to sneeze here. Excuse me. Essentially, this is like a Lord of Dragons for machine monsters. If you want to run this, playtest with it. But if you're going to put it in a serious build, you probably won't run this in your deck, even though it is a fire attribute. Then we get the original boys, Horn, Edge, and Keel. Then our Legendary Duelists reprints of Cyberdark Cannon and Claw. And then Ling Ling. This card is actually really good. I didn't use Ling Ling out the gate, but I have learned how useful this Union monster is. We get Jizukiru, the Star Destroying Kaijus, because we need Kaijus. And then Gizmek. This reprint is nice. Remember, we did get Gizmek support recently. And then this old ass card. No, it's literally, I have this. This was originally printed as a rare during the 5 Dragons arc. And it only had one single printing. And this was the old way of sending cards from the extra deck to the graveyard at the cost of 3 racks. It's not a once per turn, but it was a cost of 3 racks. And it's an insect of all things, so I don't know how many of you B troopers are gonna run this in your main deck. But woo, have fun testing that. Now we get into some spells. First, the useless one. Target a machine cyber fusion monster in your graveyard. Return it to the extra deck or special summon it. If you're going to special summon it, you have to summon it properly first, as we know by the new rules. Even though this does say ignoring summoning conditions. Unfortunately, with the new master rule, we cannot just pull it out of the graveyard. You have to properly summon certain monsters in order to use them from the graveyard. If a machine cyber fusion monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect, banish this card from your graveyard instead. Each effect is once per turn. So the real purpose of using this is to act as a Return of the Dragon Lords for your cyber fusion monsters. Another repair plant is nice to have. Yep, extra cyber emergencies for Drytron. Cyberload Fusion getting a common reprint. This was also reprinted in Legendary Duelist Season 2 as a colored ultra rare. Cyberdark Impact getting another reprint as well as a common. Inferno, the same thing. Future Fusion with the errata text. That's the reason why they added this, because they needed a version of this card with the errata text of waiting 3 standby phases. Because even though this card has been reprinted before as a common, it didn't have the errata text of waiting 3 standby phases. Fusion Tag. Target a monster you control. Reveal a fusion monster in your extra deck, and if you do, the targeted monster's name can be treated as the revealed fusion monsters if used for a fusion summon this turn. Okay, so it's like, what is that spell I used to use back in the day? It's like Revoke Fusion, only you change the name of yourself. Alright. So it's like a mask change-esque Revoke Fusion. Machine Duplication. You are not going to use this in any Cyberdark build. You're going to keep this for your appliancers. Real talk, duelists. You know I'm not lying. Limiter Removal is a good double up. And this right here, this trap right here, is the card that acts as the bridge to Zane's decks. Cyberdark Invasion. Too bad it is not a holographic card. Oh, so disappointing. Once per turn, activate one of these effects, so it is a wet. Target a Cyberdark effect monster you control. Equip a dragon or machine monster from either graveyard to it. As an equipped spell that gives it 1,000 attack. This right here, not being added in MBT Yu-Gi-Oh's 10-minute testing, is one of the reasons why his build, when he did the 10-minute testing, didn't work. This is the bridge right here. Without this, you cannot equip the machines to the dragons, unless you're using Cyber Darkness Dragon. Send an equip you control equipped to a machine monster to the graveyard. Destroy a card your opponent controls. So that's non-targeting removal, which means it can get rid of Dragoon. It actually can, because it is non-targeting removal. You can only use each effect once per turn. Okay, so wait. It says you can activate one of these effects, but you can only use each effect once per turn. Why would you give it the clause of using each effect once per turn, which is like an oath, but make it a wet? Piss poor wording again by Konami. Cybernetic Revolution, I believe this is also a common reprint. This was reprinted in, I want to say, Legendary Duelist 3, as well as Season 2. Power Wall. I am not up on this card. During damage calculation, when you would take battle damage from an opponent's attacking monster, send a card from the top of your deck to the graveyard. For every 500 damage rounded up, you would take instead. Okay, so it's kind of like the discard effect of Advanced Dark for your monsters. Alright. Call the Haunted, good staple. Paleo Canadia. Wow. This is the Book of Moon Paleo monster, though. Not really useful. They should have gave us the one that returns a banished monster. I think that's Linqualia. But yeah, that's the wrong one. And Overflow is the replacement to Lightning Storm, because Konami is not going to let you have the $50 card in a $10 to $13 deck. They're just not doing that. More reprints. Chimera Tech Over Dragon. I will never understand why this is in here. It doesn't need the reprint. And the sad part about it is there really isn't too much of a use for Chimera Tech over Dragon. Yeah. Cyber Darkness Dragon, good to have. Cyber Dark Dragon, we needed this. Again, these I believe were reprints in the first Legendary Duelist Season 1. Legendary Duelist Season 1. These were reprinted, but apparently tough to get. And here's our boy Power Bond. This is what Chimera will be searching. And then the Big Daddy, Overload Fusion, to wrap up the deck. All in all, real talk, I'm glad that we got an upgraded version to Cyberdarks. You know, this was much needed. And now that July has come, because this was supposed to be we were supposed to get this deck in July. On July 15th, actually. So, getting it now, what, 3 months later, is bittersweet, but at least we can use the cards and not have to worry about the ban list, because we won't be worrying about this ban list until the winter. And I'm looking forward to upgrading my Cyber Dark deck. So, here's what's going to happen. There will be 2 deck profiles following this. The budget version of this, and then a more suitable version. So, I hope you guys stay tuned for those. Leave your thoughts of Cyber Strike in the comments section below. Remember to like, sub, and bell. And stay tuned for that upcoming Cyber Dark content. But for now, thanks for watching, and I take my cards to the box because I'm done. Bye-bye, everybody.